Welcome everyone, my name is Eva van Heesen. I'm a PhD candidate at the Amsterdam UMC at the Department of Anatomy and Neurosciences. And this project actually came about because awards are such a big thing in academia. We have awards for papers, theses, best posters, anything. But we don't have awards for creating a pre-registration or sharing your code or sharing your data. And we think that's actually equally important. And the people behind this project is the Open Science Working Group of our department. So we're a bunch of junior researchers committed to advancing open science culture first in our department, but we're now starting to branch out towards the whole hospital. Which I think is really great that we can open our events or initiatives to the whole Amsterdam UMC. And this is truly a bottom-up kind of committee. So we are trying to convince the others in our department that this is important. And I think about half of us are also PhD students affiliated with the VU. So the goal of these Amsterdam UMC Open Science Awards is to recognize and reward these projects that put open science into practice. And also to kind of create this network, because we're all distributed over these different departments and we want to bring people with a passion for open science together in one room so they can also share their experiences and kind of create a support network. For these Open Science Awards, we've created 3 categories. The first is where open science is the core objective. This is, for example, kind of educational programs or infrastructure. The second is where research is the main goal, but open science is implemented as a component. For example, a pre-registration, sharing your code, sharing your data. And I think these are really the people that we try to target. These are the people that are doing research, business as usual, but we want to make sure that they also think about how they can implement open science in their work. And the third category is science communication. This could be public outreach or making a video to explain your study to your patients, for example. And we have chosen to award 5 winners and 5 runners-up. Last year we had a very successful pilot, over 20 submissions from different departments of the hospital. And we saw a really broad range of projects, actually from all of these categories. And also a very successful event in the sense that there was a lot of networking, new people got to talk and share their experiences. And now we are preparing for the 2026 edition. The call will open early May with the deadline in September. And then we will shortlist these 10 candidates that will present a pitch in November. So just to conclude, open science takes effort, and initiatives like these exist to make sure that the effort gets seen. And we are very grateful to RIOS for supporting us and making this happen, and hope this inspires you to keep doing the work. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody here. My name is Durwin Lynch. I work at the Athena Institute. I'm also part of a research project called Representing Europe, and I focus on healing the afterlives of colonialism, Dutch colonialism. If you all see the news these days, if we look into the world we live in, it's not always a happy place. And we as researchers, academics, are now also being called to step out of this ivory tower and work together with communities. And in my research, am still working with activists, with artists, with grassroots organizations. But collaboration doesn't always go easy. There are hidden tensions, historical roots to these tensions. There are also bureaucracy, hierarchische structuren, hierarchical structures towards funding, equal funding, validation of knowledge, acknowledging of whose knowledge is valid. All these things make it difficult sometimes to work in those projectified ways that expect us academics to deliver timely, fast, and with the name of the academics on the outcomes. I think it's important that researchers such as me and others who also feel affiliated to these sensitive topics and who work with communities, with partners, and experience difficulties in collaborating together, to go into dialogue together, and not separately, but together. And how to do that? We think food helps, rituals. Yeah, I see you laughing and smiling, definitely. For these, and I'm very grateful for this funding, I'll be preparing my own food for those guests, possibly you. Develop rituals too, because we think rituals in the moment are also a way to bring people's consciousness to the human level rather than the egoic codes we wear sometimes. And I work with artists and activists who in their own way present their knowledge, and I welcome these two to these events. It's not always written, it's sometimes more artistic, it sounds other times more visual, and it's for us to try to learn and communicate with them. Time's up. So yeah, food is important. Anyone here who has ever visited a kitty kotti table dialogue session? I see one few hands. So maybe this is also a great experience to come to this event that I'm going to organize twice and think along. I work, you know, the tax benefit scandal, the toeslagenschandaal, toeslagenaffaire. I see more faces nodding. We do research too on how to heal from institutionalized racism. And we notice that working with activists and artists, they sometimes want to be present without being anonymized, but they are not always aware of the possible consequences in 5 years, what it might mean for them. So acknowledging their authenticity, their rights, their knowledge also goes hand in hand with protecting them future-wise. These kind of discussions I want to have with a meal, because already I feel myself boiling inside. Thank you all.
So the floor is yours, Anna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, the research support of the Amsterdam UMC did an inquiry on the current status of the patient participation in research, and based on the outcome it was decided that there was some work to be done, because despite increasing policy attention to patient participation, implementation within the research practice of these remains ad hoc, symbolic or project-based. We decided that writing a position paper, how to implement patient participation in research. And the next slide should be we wanted to make a new research standard for patients as partners, and also ask the questions, are you ready? And we strongly believe that patient participation improves the quality and impact of scientific research. And the initiative is led by, already mentioned, Christine Dedding, and myself, and Bianca Brundel. And the aim is that this initiative is to develop and disseminate bilingual, visually accessible publication that presents a clear, evidence-informed and practice-based framework for structural high-quality patient participation in research. The publication will position patient partnership not as an optional add-on, but as a core element of responsible research practice. And we will develop a professionally designed booklet and that explains why patient participation improves research quality and social relevance, what clarifies the risk of tokenism and data extraction without reciprocity, also provides a practical starting point for researchers, and we want to illustrate participation across research types like the RCT, fundamental, qualitative, quantitative, citizen science, and also articulates principles of shared responsibility, data ownership, awareness and reciprocity. And finally, my own interest in this is that I'm involved in two citizen science networks, like the Zelfonderzoeknetwerk Nederland with my project Voeding Helpt, and also in the Je Leefstijl als Medicijn as a scientific advisor. And within these organizations, I see many patients that have to deal with chronic diseases that research on their disease and try to find ways to improve their quality of life. They use medical literature for that, and this literature is more and more accessible. My personal interest is to investigate how these patients use the literature and also if this is more understandable. Okay, thank you.
So, first of all, I think this is a wonderful program. I mean, look how beautiful these projects are just presented. I feel really I have the most boring one, just inviting a researcher to come here to do workshops and to, but I mean, wow, what a diversity and how rich this is. I think this is something that this should continue. So much richness is beautiful. So my very boring presentation is about the visiting fellowship of Tim. Tim is a great researcher. He's one of the leads of the Center of Open Science in the US and really one of the front runners in open science adoption. He was also one of the leads of this big replication studies project, first in psychology 10 years ago, and now in the social science and humanities. And he will come here to Amsterdam for 3 weeks, having the RIOS fellowship. He's also very happy to have this fellowship. We're going to engage, we're going to organize some workshop on departments, we're going to organize here a keynote on culture, research culture change, and we're going to organize also a panel debate that we really want to focus on having policymakers here, chairpersons, and the actual researchers to talk about how can we improve open science practices here at the VU. Very happy to have him here, and I really look forward. Thank you so much for this award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember where were you on 30 November 2022? Not here, I guess. What happened that day? Yeah, oh, you know. Yes, good. I remember being at the white lunch table in our 2E wing of the main building, talking to my colleagues saying, a disaster just happened. Academia as we knew it is over. We can no longer ask students to write essays, do a master thesis, because very soon a bot will be able to do that better than our students. So what does this mean for research? That was a question that was postponed, because immediately the universities started thinking about the business model of teaching. If bots can do the work of students better than students themselves, the business of universities is over. So there's a lot of investment in terms of how to deal with AI in education, and the Center for Teaching and Learning has invested a lot in thinking about that. There's an AI competence network where the VU and UvA together think about these implications and how to deal with them. But thus far, if you now go to the website of the VU and you look for guidance on how to deal with AI in research, yeah, there's a sort of overall picture. You should think about ownership, you should think about responsibility. Yeah, we always think about these things all of the time because we're very responsible researchers. But what does that actually mean? It means, for instance, that you are forbidden to use Claude code at the moment. You cannot do that because the VU doesn't have a data processing agreement with Anthropic. There is not even a formal response of Google on whether our students can use Gemini. We don't really know. Google never responded to our legal team question about that. So At the moment, the best thing you could do is use Copilot and log in with your ViewNet ID. And that's the only thing that you could use in terms of AI. Other things the VU cannot take responsibility for. Well, that's a question to which the answer you cannot find at the VU website. We need to change that. That's one thing. The other thing we need to know is how researchers in practice use all these new tools. I'm getting like bombarded every day with yet another thing an amazing thing that large language models can do for us and help us our research do better also. It's not just a bad thing, it's also an improvement. So what are the experiences of researchers in using AI, the pitfalls of them? Let's feed the policy that is currently in the making on how to guide you as researchers in using AI with experiences from practice. That's why we're going to do a tour around campus. Each faculty will have an opportunity to discuss how researchers think the VU policy on the use of AI should be formulated. There will be a draft soon, but then it won't be over. I mean, we will have to update it every day with every new tool that comes out. So that's what this initiative will support, feeding the VU policy with real stories of university researchers in how they use AI, what things they have discovered and how it doesn't work, and why it's important to take these consequences into account. And then let's hope that we have a more responsible use of AI in the future. Right.